Ah yes, hello my friends. Today we're going to be working on my Subaru that I am sitting in. This is my blue Subaru, so you know it's a spicy Subaru. So, today I need to knock out some more wiring, which is never a fun thing. So, I'd ideally like to get the Haltech powered up today and get some of these interior sensors wired up, get the dash put back in, etc. to be able to get the interior pretty much sorted at this point. So, now there's a big bundle of Now there's a big bundle of wires down by my feet right now, which we're gonna try to get wired in. Some of them need to go to the back of the car. Some of them need to go over to the driver's area over there. Ideally, I'd like to get the Haltech powered up today, get the IC7 dash display powered up again, get the fuel pumps wired in, getting a lot of the interior stuff done with, so that way when our motor comes back next week, we can just plop the engine in, build the engine harness side of things, get all of our accessories done, refabricate the up pipe, get the turbo placement where we want it, get things dialed in, and really get this car going. Honestly, with the engine coming back and the wiring harness pretty much sorted at this point, it really shouldn't be too bad. So let me show you what we got going on down here, and then we can start figuring all this other stuff out. I know what you're probably thinking, man. You look at all this stuff, you're like, oh my god, dude, there's so many wires. How do you know where they all go? They literally only go in one spot. So a lot of people see all this like interior wiring stuff where it's all torn apart like this. I promise it's really not that bad. So this big bundle right here is what we're gonna be sifting through today. These are all interior wires. So we're gonna get these loomed up, figured out where they're going, find a home for them, run them to their desired locations. What do I have going on here? What is that even for? What do you go? Game plan is to get all this going to where it needs to go. Power cables to the battery, get the ground cables to the battery, put them on the circuit side so that way we still have a functional kill switch on the car, so if we need to kill the entire car, we can do so. We have this one wire off the DC-CD controller that I am going to have to wire up to be able to read vehicle RPM, so I think I can pull that from the tachometer, so off of the IC7 display, which is up there on top of that cylinder head, which you guys can't really see right now. So sweet, let me start sifting through all this stuff, figuring out where it's gonna start going. Honestly, not a crazy amount of wires. So we've got this bundle right here, which is battery positive. So that one will go towards the driver's side. Now I can actually start wiring all this stuff up, which is lovely. I will have to extend all these wires out to make it into the trunk. Check this out. So we've got this nice little bundle of wires back here, right? These longer two, these are gonna be our fuel pump positives from the ECM going to the fuel pumps. This other batch of 4 red wires here with this longer one here, these are all battery positive. Now, before I continue running all of these, what I'm gonna do is go ahead and do the negative, because I'm just gonna ground the fuel pump directly to the battery instead of doing it to the chassis. And I would like to just build that directly into this harness here. So we'll run some 20 gauge ground wire from there all the way into this bundle, and then we'll run that all the way back into the trunk, so that way it'll stay with that harness and meet up with the battery back here. Now, because I've already gone ahead and I've done everything into the Haltech, I can go ahead and remove all of these old fuses and relays and everything back here to get all that crap off of this battery, and clean up the trunk a lot more, because like I said, this time I'm doing everything proper, I'm doing everything right, and trying to integrate this all. Now, like I said, for the IC7 display to be able to read fuel level, I'm going to create a separate harness for that that's not built into this harness, because I want to be able to service that harness as needed if I need to add or take away wires from the IC7 harness, so that way I'm not messing with the Haltech harness. So I want the Haltech harness to be independent of the actual display, if that makes sense to you guys. So let me go ahead and get the ground wires ran into this, get all of these added, and get them all ran back here to the battery, and then we'll have the positive side done, our fuel pumps wired, and pretty much done. The grounds for the fuel pumps back here. I've got the power supplies to the ECM, all that stuff hooked up back here. So I've got it all tucked back here. It runs with that bundle of wires up. It comes up here, passes underneath of the driver or the passenger side back seat, goes down, and then follows all of the OEM harnesses underneath of the carpet there. Now, while doing that, I also built in the fuel pump power and grounds. So I got one ground, one power, one ground, one power, one for each fuel pump back here. So that way those can easily be wired in. It doesn't matter which one goes where. They're both Wall Bureau 450s back here in the fuel tank. So that'll be pretty simple. It was nice to be able to integrate it into all one harness right there, so that way I didn't have multiple harnesses feeding into the back seat like I did before. So sweet. I will have one more harness coming back here from the IC7 display for fuel level. You can see the old wires for it right over there. So we're on the right track to be able to get this thing started, or not started, but powered on, I guess I should say. Now, to be able to give power to the Haltech, the other thing that we need to do is get the ignition wire, which is that pink wire, hooked up to a switched 12-volt source. Now, while I'm dealing with the rest of the wires up here in the interior, I guess I should say, because I want to get the dash and everything like that put back in permanently, what I can do is actually start going ahead and bundling all of these into the next harness that we're going to be doing. So one harness down, one to go. All of these are going to be going over to the driver's side. Is that the driver's side? Yeah, driver's side over there. I am going to incorporate in that one blue wire for the DCCD controller, because that needs to see RPM. And with Haltech, this is really nice. On the IC7 display, I can pull data from this, from the Deutsch connector on the back, so it makes life really easy. So I can just pull the actual RPM from this to send to the DCCD controller in there. So let me start figuring out what wires I'm gonna have going over there. I hope you guys understand this literally takes hours to do. That one harness, just running it back, getting it all like nicely done, professionally like wired up and whatnot, that probably took me 3 hours. Now, in theory, when I go and turn the battery on, my key fob is dead. So I'm gonna have to push the start button, which is chilling down there with the key fob, to even be able to gain access. Now, when I go to do that, I've got the stock ECM plugged in, the Haltech plugged in, my dash up there. I've got all the power wires ran. So we're gonna go ahead and click on, the car is either gonna be real pissed off or it's gonna work. Okay, nothing bad happened when I turned the battery on, so that's a good sign. When I come over here to the start button, my STI logo is lit up. Come on, my key is like dead. Oh, okay, good sign. What just happened? Something just happened. What just happened? I saw my Haltech flip on and then flip off. Hold up, I gotta put it on a battery charger for a little bit. I think the battery might just be too dead. Okay, Daddy-o, here's what's up. So, the battery seems to be so dead because it sat for so long that whenever I've gotten the display and everything turn on, which is, we've verified that the Haltech's getting power, because if the Haltech wasn't getting power, that wouldn't be powering on. So I'm gonna let the battery charge overnight. It's like 8 p.m. right now. We'll come back first thing in the morning, verify that all the electronics work for the Haltech. If that is the case, we are going to go ahead and get out all of these wires, get the dash back in here, get the dash bolted back in, and start getting everything inside of the car put back together, because at that point I'm pretty much done inside of the car, and then it's all engine bay related, which is good because everything I did in here was so freaking due to all day endeavor. It's been like 5-6 hours of just wiring to be able to get everything permanently wired and figured out and resorted back up. I need to order a 4-pin Deutsch connector to hook up the CAN communication from the car to the Haltech, so that way it can communicate things like brake signal. It can pull wheel speed sensor data, but it pisses off the all-wheel drive system to know. I wonder if the DCCD controller would change that now. That's something we can experiment with later. But regardless of the fact, I saw it. It briefly came on. The IC7 display, it came on and then went off. I don't think the car has enough juice to be able to fully power the stock ECM, the Haltech, the display, the dome lights, because everything else is on it. It sat for so long that poor battery back there is probably just fighting for its life. And it is a full-size battery, so I don't want to hear any comments about it being a mini battery and it sucks. Swing back here first thing in the morning. We'll keep going on this. Good morning, everyone. Battery's all charged up, and guess what? We got communication with our Haltech. Such a beautiful sight to fucking see, baby. So because we now have communication and the Haltech is fully functional again and all wired up and working for all of the inside stuff in the car, we are Gucci, baby. Look at that. Only 30,582 miles. This thing's still a fucking baby. This car is a baby. And I am excited to have it back. So awesome. That is beautiful to see. So what we're gonna go ahead and do now, I can't be here for hours. I have a barrel of E85 getting dropped off at the house today, so I need to be at the house between like 1 and 2 o'clock to be able to receive that barrel of E85. So the game plan for right now, get the Haltech out, like the physical ECM out of the car, permanently wire up the ignition switch, get the cluster out, get the dash back in, get the dash fully bolted back up, try to get this interior reassembled as much as possible because I'm done in here. Throttle pedals wired up, clutch switch is wired up, ignition switch, everything inside of the car. Fuel pumps aren't wired up, but the wires are ran to the fuel pump, so this is beautiful. It's funny because the first time that I did all of this, I didn't know where the hell anything was going, so it was a lot of trial and error, a lot of reading through wiring diagrams, and now that I've already done it once, where every single wire has to go inside of this cabin, so it makes it so much easier, which is insane. Look at that, things are getting way less scary. The dash is going back in, everything's getting plugged back in, everything's getting reassembled. We're gonna have a nice interior here soon, and it's gonna be pretty, okay? Look at that, it's all going back together just like it did when I took it apart. But the gentleman who's dropping off the E85 is going to be an hour early, so I'm gonna jet out of here, swing to the house, go get that E85, probably fill up the WRX. I have some side skirts at the house for the WRX I might toss on, and then I'm gonna come back here. Down at the house, literally pretty much as soon as I got here, the barrel got dropped off, so we have a nice 55-gallon drum of forged fuel E85 Daddy-O. I'll probably end up stocking more barrels in the future. Probably like 2 or 3 would be nice. Matt, you wanna run an E85 in any of the cars? If we just start having barrels here, that'd make life easier, right? You need fuel, you just get it in the garage. You never have to go to the gas station. Makes life easy. So, I don't have a pump for this thing yet. I forgot to order one. So Matt is making an air siphon. So that way we don't have to suck on any hoses and get a mouthful of E85.
I'm not gonna lie, okay? I'm not a genius. I saw this on TikTok.
Is it gonna work?
It's supposed to make a fucking Venturi that, like, pumps shit out hella fast. I'm excited to see it, honestly.
Is it working? It is.
Yeah.
It is working.
It is
working. This is actually like true E85 too. This isn't like the random, this might be E85 that we get. Do we have a towel? I want to wipe the water off the top just so the water doesn't get in there. It seems to be aerating a little. Oh, there it goes. And then it just goes, doesn't it? Look at you with the big brain on that. Oh, I mean, there's fuel in there.
Well, when you don't have a tool for something, you innovate it.
Not gonna lie, it works.
Yeah.
I like to use masking tape.
Yeah, I didn't want to hold these together.
Oh, oh my God.
There you go. Fully enough for you?
I think that's pretty good. Well, I'll go put this one in the car.
Okay.
And yeah, I guess you know,
I'm at a pretty good point right now where it's just
gonna do it.
I think it's filling at about the same speed as a pump.
True. I'm gonna go put that one in, hopefully not make a huge mess. Got the WRX filled up on some fresh E85. Let me get this thing warmed up. Let's go back to the shop. I was gonna do the side skirts, but I have no self-tappers here, so I'm gonna pick some up on the way back. We'll do those in another video. I'm not too worried about doing it right now. It's a pretty poopy day outside anyways, and let's go keep doing some wiring, putting the interior of the STI back together. That whole situation just dealt with. Keep going on the interior of this thing. I don't have much left to do on it. I was trying to finish it before the barrel got dropped off, but it's no big deal. Car runs way better. WRX runs insanely better with that forged fuels than it ever did on that pump E85 I was getting. Because the pump E85, that could have been E60, could have been E70, could have been E80. It's always a toss-up. I've got the interior for the most part where I want it, which is put back together. Now for the real check is to test it all to make sure it works. So we go back here to our battery. I've got my kill switch off right now, so we'll flip that on so the car now has power. Our dome lights are on, so that's a good sign. I have my key here. STI logo's lit up, so come on, my key fob battery's dead, so thank God. Yes, these are beautiful signs. I know, shut up, I know you're not fully hooked up yet. Fuck yes, hell yes. MFD works, you work, Haltech obviously works, otherwise this wouldn't be working right now. I can hear relays clicking down there. It's not doing anything. I may have, oh my gosh, my silly self, I forgot to plug it in over here. Hold up, let me turn it all off and plug in the DC-CD. I wanna make sure that this works also. Okay, this is a problem for a different day. That won't light up for some reason. Maybe it needs to have the RPM input plugged in to light up. I honestly don't know. This is the iWire Spider kit. I mean, worst case scenario, I plug the stock DC-CD back in and we ride it out with whatever happens. Ideally, that's not what I want to do, but I don't know. I can't get this thing to light up. It's all plugged in except for that one blue wire that goes to RPM, and maybe that it just needs that for this. I honestly don't know, but we're looking good up here, man. Our Subaru's coming back to life, baby. Beautiful. So with that, I think that's all I'm gonna do right now on this. I'm gonna see what's going on with the DC-CD controller, see if maybe I wired something wrong on that, because that is brand new in the car and I need to figure that out. But aside from that, Haltech powers up. We have our old information loaded onto that Haltech right now, so I can access the tune now to make changes for the new engine that's going in, because I'm gonna have to just like offset timing, literally everything. So I wanted to get all of the interior wiring for the Haltech. I could in theory test the fuel pumps if I wanted to, but there's really no point. There's no fuel in the tank. There's no point in trying to burn up a fuel pump, trying to test to make sure it works with no fuel in the car. So I guarantee you that they'll work. I fucking know they will. So that's why the relays were clicking. They were cycling the fuel pump. Oh, that makes sense. They're priming the fuel system, so that's why the relay would click on. So that's a good thing to hear then. Sick. Wait, let's go back to the house then, dude. I'm pumped for this. Interior's put back together, Haltech's wired in, IC7 display works. We have access to the ECM again. Our engine ships out in a couple of days to come back here so we can start getting that built, put back together, put it in the car, dude. Blue's coming back, baby. Blue's coming back. Fantastic progress on Blue, you guys. I am aiming to have that car running again in a month to 2 months. It's honestly just kind of putting everything back together at this point. We're like you guys have seen in this video. Remember the first time, if you were around the channel, remember the first time that I did all of this wiring on the inside of the car on Blue? It was an absolute nightmare. I didn't know what the hell I was doing, and I've learned so much with Blue, with the hatch, with all of the cars, to where now I know exactly what I'm doing. I know where everything goes. And it's just reassembling the car at this point. It's not going through and re-engineering everything that we've already had to figure out. It's already been figured out, and it's just plug and play for us at this point. If somebody came up to me, they were like, hey, I want to put an EG33 in my VA STI, I got you. Like, I can literally walk you, and I'm using a Haltech, I can literally walk you through and help you do it at this point. I know where it all goes. The engine, fingers crossed, actually ships out this week. Once that engine's back, we can reassemble that long block, get it put back in the car. I need to make very minor fabrication changes. I am going to make a new dump or a new downpipe and whatnot, but dude, I can't wait to have it back. It was taken from me prematurely, and I'm gunning for it. And the other thing I want to mention with Blue, because I know people are going to ask, what are your horsepower goals? At this point, whatever the car makes is what the car makes. I'm done gunning for a number when I just want the car back, and I just want it to work, and I just want it to be everything that I want it to be. The current setup that's on the car should do 1,000 to 1,200 wheel horsepower. If it makes it on the dyno, fantastic. If it doesn't, and it makes 900, if it makes 800, if it makes 1,100, I really don't care at this point. I want my goddamn car back. I just want to enjoy it, you know what I mean? So I'm not gunning for a number anymore. Whatever it makes on the dyno is what it makes. We'll see. Like I said, the current setup on that car with the 7675, the ID 2600s, the biggest holdback are the fuel pumps. I'm going to swap out the fuel pumps from 450s to 525s because they're physically the same size and they'll fit in that hanger. So I might as well just swap out the fuel system to give us the fuel that we need. But aside from that, I can't wait. Can't wait to have it back. But that's all I got for you guys on this one. So if you liked the video, you know what to do. Go and hit that like button, turn it black, blue, green, yellow, purple, silver, cyan, whatever color it turns for you. And if you're not already subscribed to the channel and you want to be, I'll put it in one of these corners. No idea which one quite yet. But with that, I will catch you guys in the next one. So peace out, homies. Woo!